Hello and welcome to our session today. We are going to discuss integrated science, grade 9, Jesma 005. That is the paper we are going to discuss, integrated science, grade 9. As our normal, before we start, just give us your support by ensuring you have subscribed to the channel, and you can also share the link to your other friends so that they may also join STEM Smart Academy. Question number one of this paper says, when a balloon is inflated with air inside, it takes the shape of the balloon. When a balloon is inflated with air inside, it takes the shape of the balloon. This is because gases, one, have no definite shape, have straight shape, have definite shape, have the ability to flow. What makes the gases to take up the shape of what makes the gases to take up the shape of the balloon? That is what the question is asking. When answering that question, we all need to be very keen, more so with our response towards it. More so with our response towards it. So after critical analysis, you all know, learners, the properties of this test of matter. What do you think are the properties of solids, liquids, and gases? That is what the question is asking from us. In the moment we know those properties, then it will become very easy for you as a learner. It will become very easy for you as a learner. So what is the take? What is the take, dear learners? What is the take, dear learners? Very important. Very important. So you know that gases have no definite shape. That's why they tend to take the shape of the container. So they have no definite shape. They have no. An iron pin became red hot when heated. After some time, the pin regained its original color. After some time, the pin regained its original color. After some time, the pin regained its original color. These statements explain the above. These statements explain the above observation, except one. They're talking about physical change. Yes, there was a physical change because from the physical point of view, we could see it becoming red hot, meaning there was that physical change. Number two, that part B, change is chemical. No, chemical result formation of a new substance, but here you can see it regained its original shape, so this one is wrong. Part C, change is temporary. Yes, that's why it regained the original shape. Then the pin conducted heat. Yes, the pin conducted heat, thus becoming red hot. So the excluded answer here is B for boy. The excluded answer here is B for boy. Question number 3. Which of the following symbols represents iron? The symbol for iron is Fe. which is A for apple in this case. The symbol for iron is Fe. Question number question number 5. Sorry, question number 4. Question number 4. Question number 4 says that ordinary fires are a class of fire they are talking about ordinary fire, meaning they are simply just referring to this normal fire, the ordinary fire. One, they are ignited by oils. No, no, ordinary fire is not ignited by oils. Number 2, part B, sorry, part B, they burn materials such as wood, cloth, and plastics. Yes, ordinary fire can burn wood, can also burn clothes or plastic. So the most appropriate answer here is A. A for apple is the most appropriate answer. A for apple becomes the most appropriate answer there. A for apple. Not A for apple, sorry. B for boy. Apologies for that. Let's look at question number 5. Which of the following metals is a liquid at room temperature? Gold. No, gold is a solid. Lithium, aluminium, mercury. So the one that's liquid at room temperature is the mercury. That is why we used to use it in the traditional thermometers. We had thermometers that had mercury as their thermometric liquid. Question number 6. A teacher was teaching grade 8 learners on magnet. They concluded that a horseshoe magnet is stronger than a horseshoe magnet is stronger than a bar magnet. This is because part A, it is heavier. It is heavier, hence making it stronger. No, in fact, a horseshoe magnet is not. It is not heavier. Its shape increases the surface area for the concentration of the magnetic fields. Let's leave it first. The internal structure is strong. No. The poles are next to each other. Let's look at keenly choice B and D. Remember, they are saying, they concluded that this horseshoe magnet is a stronger magnet. You only know how strong a magnet is by looking at the concentration of the magnetic field lines. So that gives you the B as the most appropriate answer here, B for boy. Question number 7. Which of the following is a metal? Which one of the following is a metal? Remember, when an element has a 1, 2, or 3 electrons in its outermost energy level, that element becomes a metal. So this one is 17. This one is 4. This one, no. So the most appropriate answer here is beryllium. That is the metal. That is the metal. Remember, for an element to be a metal, then its outermost energy level should have either a 1, a 2, or 3 electrons. Question number 8. The electronic arrangement belongs to a certain element. You have 2.6. Which of the following is not a use of the element? One, we need to understand which element is this. 2 plus 6 is 8. And element that is number 8 is oxygen. Oxygen. Therefore, they are simply asking which of the following is not the use of oxygen. Yes, respiration. Yes, we use oxygen for respiration. We also use it by germinating plants. They depend on oxygen. Then even combustion. Combustion. So the odd one answer here is making fertilizer. No, we don't use oxygen in making fertilizer. Question number 9. Which of the following best describes the terms malleability? Which one of the following best describes the term malleability? Um, um, the ability of the metals to one reflect light and appear shiny, we call that one luster. Be stretched into thin wires without breaking, no. Be molten and combined with other metals to form an alloy, no. Be flattened into thin sheets without cracking or breaking. The most appropriate answer here is D. That is the correct definition of the term malleability. Malleability. Question number 11. Use the diagram to answer the question 10 and 11. Looking at this question, you can see a stand, a metal rod. You can see source of heat. Pins are attached by wax to the metal rod. Then the question is, what are the learners investigating? Electrical conductivity? No, we don't have anything like electricity here. Thermal conductivity? Let's hold on. Melting of solids, change of states. No. So then what was being investigated here is the thermal conductivity. If that metal rod is able to conduct the heat well and transfer. So that's what is being investigated. Let's go to question number 11. What was the observation after some time? When heating is being done, let me take you guys back to the diagram. When heating is being done, the metal rod will conduct current. Sorry, not current, but this will conduct heat. When it will conduct heat, the wax will melt, and once the wax melts, then we expect the pins to start falling. So that is what happens. So the candle went off, no. There was no change, no. The wax melted and the pins fell, yes. The wax did not melt, no. The wax melted because the metal rod is a good heat conductor. Therefore, it conducted heat, making the metal to melt. Question number 12. Magnesium and oxygen. Magnesium and oxygen react to form what is called what? These ones are magnesium hydroxide, no. Magnesium oxide, yes, so that's very true. Magnesium sulfide is magnesium and sulfur. Magnesium chloride is is a reaction between magnesium and chlorine. Which among the following is not a way of softening hard water? Boiling, yes, it's a way. Use of chemicals, we can use chemicals like so many. Distillation. So the one that's not a method of softening hard water here is what is called recycling. Recycling is not a method of softening hard water. Let's have a look at question number 14. Question number 14. Soap reacts with dash and dash ions to form insoluble substances called dash. One soap will react with what is called calcium and magnesium ions. Calcium and magnesium ion to form an insoluble substance. That insoluble substance is normally what is called the scum. So let me look at the answers. Magnesium and sodium, no, sodium rules that one out. Calcium and magnesium scum, yes. Let me look at here. Hydrogen, oxygen, no, all the three they are wrong. Magnesium, calcium form, no, no form being formed there. So the correct answer here is B for boy. B for boy. Question number 15. Which among the following is not an application of hard water in day-to-day life? Used in brewery companies. Yes, some hard water is used to add some taste in things like beer. So this one is a use. Has essential minerals that strengthen bones. Yes. because hard water contains calcium and magnesium ions and minerals that can strengthen our bones and teeth. Best for domestic use, let's hold on there. Then forms a protective layer on plumbing, hence preventing corrosion. Yes, this base for domestic use, it's not correct because hard water is not best for domestic use. Why? Because you may spend a lot of soap without forming lather, so we don't prefer it to be used for domestic use. That is C for cat. Question number 16. The following are adaptations of the leaf for photosynthesis. Which one is not? Have extensive network veins, yes. Has a thick lamina to allow light to penetrate through. Look at the word thick. If it is thick, it will not allow light to pass through. So this one here, it's wrongly written. It could have been thick. So that makes it to be wrong. Has a transparent and waterproof cuticle. Yes. Has a broad and flattened lamina to increase the surface area for the process. Yes. So the most odd answer here is B for boy, because it should have thin lamina, not thick. Let's look at question number 17 now. That study the diagram below and answer the questions. You can see the diagram. We have part A, part B, part C. The choices provided below are functions of the part marked A. Which one is not? One, it acts as storage for the carbohydrates produced, forms site for dark reaction, has enzymes that catalyze photosynthetic reaction, contains chlorophyll which trap light for photosynthesis. So the most appropriate answer here, that's odd one out, is A for apple. A for apple is the odd one out. Question number 18. The diagram below show the experiment shown below was carried out by grade 9 learners. So you can see a plant tied and with some sodium hydroxide pellets. Remember the sodium hydroxide there is the sodium hydroxide pellets is used to absorb the carbon dioxide. Ahem. It showed that light is a raw material for photosynthesis. No, no use of light here. Remember, we need to be very keen. Chlorophyll is necessary for photosynthesis. Water is a raw material for photosynthesis. Carbon dioxide is necessary for photosynthesis. Yes, the most appropriate answer here is carbon dioxide is necessary for photosynthesis. Why? Simply because of the sodium hydroxide pellets that is responsible for the absorption of the sodium hydroxide. It is responsible for the absorption of the sodium hydroxide. Let's look at question number next. From the experiment 18 above, why did the learners use sodium hydroxide? I have already explained that to absorb carbon dioxide present in the beaker. Yes, this is the answer. I have already given an explanation bit of it. I've already given an explanation about it. Let's go to question number 20. Question number 20 says, which of the following choices is not a mode of nutrition? We have autotropism, holozoic, symbiosis, and saprophytic modes of nutrition. Very, very good question. The what is the odd one out here is autotrophism. Autotrophism is the ability of plants to manufacture their, so the ability of the animals to make their own food. Autotrophism. So that one is not a mode of nutrition. Question number 21. During an integrated science lesson on different types of teeth, a learner noticed her tooth located between the canine and the molar. So when they say a tooth located between the canine and the molar, that tooth must be what is called a premolar. The tooth must be a premolar. The tooth has the cavity. The following are the characteristics of the tooth. So here they are talking about characteristics of the premolar, except one, used for grinding and chewing, yes. It has two roots, yes. Has a chisel-shaped edge known as cusp. No, this chisel is for the incisors. Incisors. They are 8 in number, yes. The odd one characteristic here is C for cat, the chisel shape. That is for incisors and not premolars. Question number 22. Ingestion is a common term used in describing the process of digestion. Which of the following statements defines ingestion? Use of food molecules to build new molecules? No. Getting rid of undigested food materials. This one here is what is called ingestion. Absorbing nutrients into the body, that's called absorption. Taking food into the body. Taking food off the body is called ingestion. In means into the body. So the correct answer is D for dog. For question number 22, it is D for dog. Question number 23. Uh, the animal dentition shown below belongs to. When you look at this animal, it has teeth on the lower jaw, but on the upper jaw here, there are no teeth. We call this one here a honey pad. It has a honey pad. On the lower jaw, between the incisors and the premolars, we don't have the canines. So this one here, this part here, we call it the diastema. This one is obviously it should be a herbivore, and that becomes a cow. That one becomes a cow. That is a cow. In that case, dear learners, that one is a cow because of those conditions of a hard pan and a diastema. Presence of hard pan and a diastema makes it to be a herbivore. Let's look at question number 24. Let's look at question number 24. The question says that question number 25, because I'm done with that. Sorry, 24, yes. The following are agents of pollination. Which one is not? Water. Yes, water is an agent. Insects, wind. Technology is not an agent of pollination. So in the agents of pollination, we have water, insects, and wind. Question number 25. Which of the following, which statement correctly describes cross-pollination? Cross-pollination. When you talk about cross-pollination, this is the transfer of pollen grains from the anthers of one plant to the stigma of a different plant but of the same species. So let's look at it. The transfer of pollen grains from the anther to the stigma of the same flower. No, this becomes self. Anther to stigma of a different flower of a different plant. What rules out this answer is the term different plant. Should be different plant. Answer to stigma of a different flower. Answer to a stigma of a different plant. Let's look at the next one. Anther of one plant to the stigma of another flower, but of the same species. Yes, yes, that's correct. Stigma of another plant to anther. No, 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 no. This one has been reversed. So the most appropriate answer here is C for cat. For question number 25, for question number 25, the correct answer is C for cat. Let's look at question number 26. A plant cell organelle that enhances the process the process of photosynthesis is called. Remember, they want a plant cell organelle. Chlorophyll. Yes, I know chlorophyll should be there, but is it a plant cell? A plant cell organelle? No. Referred to as a compound, atom, element, molecule. The correct answer here should be an element. You cannot break it down further. That becomes an element. The following are objects that possesses kinetic energy. When you talk about kinetic energy, this is energy in motion, except a raised hammer. A hammer that has been raised does not have potential energy, but has what is called, so does not have kinetic energy, but that's what is called potential energy. Moving air, it's moving, so kinetic. Falling water, the water is falling, so it's moving, kinetic. Windmill, kinetic. So the correct answer here is A, the raised hammer. That one contains what we call potential energy. Question number 29. Which of the following factors increases the rate of rusting? Remember, they want factors that increases the rate of rusting. Factors that increases the rate of rusting, not conditions necessary for rusting to take place. Those are two different questions. Oxygen and water. Oxygen and water are what we call conditions. I want to warn you, learners. Oxygen and water is just simply the conditions necessary for rusting to occur. Water and sodium chloride and acidic conditions, temperature and oxygen. So the correct answer here for question number 29 should be C. Don't know why is my pen. The correct answer there should be C for cat. C for cat. Oxygen and water, I've told you, is just the conditions, not the factors. Question number 30. The following diagrams were used in grade 8 learners to describe the concept of pressure. Which of the following correctly describes the pressure in liquids increases with depth? Pressure in liquids increasing with depth is well illustrated in diagram A for apple. As you can see, the more the depth, the more the pressure. Let's look at also question number next now. That is question number 31. The table below represents some elements and their proton number, neutron number, in mass number. So you can see the table: element, number of proton, number of neutrons, number of atomic number, and mass number. Calculate the number of neutrons in element C. When you look at element C, it has the number of protons of 20, meaning that the atomic number here is 20. Then, not 20, but 17. I don't know, is my pen writing like that? The atomic number here is 17 because atomic number is the number of protons in an element. Then to get the number of neutrons, you take mass number 35 minus the number of protons, so rather the atomic number 17. This gives you 18. That gives you 18 as 18 as the answer. 18 as the answer. From the table above, state an element that is stable and give a reason. For you to know an element that is stable, learners, this is an element that has 8 electrons in its outermost energy level. 8 electrons. So maybe here 10, this will be 2.8, 2.8 2.8.2, 2.8.7. Looking at the outermost energy level, which element has 8 in its outermost energy level? It is element A. So here we say set an element. So this will be element A. And what will be the reason? Element A. This is because it has the maximum number of electrons in the outermost energy level. This um, this is because it has the maximum number of electrons of electrons in the in the outermost energy level, because we expect the outermost energy level to have 8 electrons. So that is the reason. Write the electron configuration of element B. Looking at element B, we've already written 2.8.2. Sorry. So for element B, so now is my pen misbehaving. For element B, it will be now 2.8.2. Let me write this one well. 2.8.2. Set one use of element C. Let's identify that element C. Element C is number 17. That is chlorine. Chlorine. We have several uses of chlorine. One, we can say used as a disinfectant. Used as a disinfectant. Used as a disinfectant. We can also say chlorine is also being used as a bleaching agent. So we can also say used, my pen is not writing well, used as a bleaching, used, used as a, let me just correct this, used as a bleaching agent. used as a bleaching. Chlorine can be used as a bleaching agent. We can also use as water treatment agent, used in treatment of water, used in treating water, because we do add water, chlorine to water, so that to treat water, used in treating water, and many more uses. The key thing is for you to identify which element is that element C, and I've told you element C is chlorine. Then you need to give now the uses of chlorine. Question number next, that is 32. Outline three importance of photosynthesis. What are the importance of photosynthesis? Outline three importance of photosynthesis. So one, helps in production of food for plants. Importance number one is pro, production of food for plants. For plants. That is one. Usage number two is enables plants to produce food for animals. Enables. My pen is not writing again. Enables. 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 My pen is having an issue, but let me just fix it. Let's say um, enables. Enables plants. Enables plants. Enables plants to produce. Enables plants to produce. Enables plants to produce food for animals. Food for, don't know why is my pen breaking. Enables plants to produce food. Sorry, to produce food for animals. Enables plants to produce food for animals. For animals. Maybe what another thing we can talk about is another thing maybe we can talk about is importance of photosynthesis, production of oxygen, because it's an end product. Production of oxygen. Production of oxygen. This oxygen is used by organisms for respiration. When carrying out an experiment to test the presence of starch in a leaf, learners did the following. Give a reason for each of the A, B, and C activities carried out. Part A, boiled the leaf. Why did they boil the leaf? A very, very common question. Boiling the leaf. Boiling the leaf, dear learners, is simply to kill the cells present and prevent any other further chemical reaction. So you can say to kill the cells, to kill the cells and prevent any further and prevent any further chemical reaction. Chemi chemical reaction. Today my pen is breaking a lot. For this, I'm going to work on it and prevent any other chemical reaction. Prevent any other chemical reaction. Let's look at the next part. Boil the leaf in methylated spirit using a water bath. Why did they use a water bath during boiling? This because um, mhm, boil the leaf in methylated spirit. Um, this is basically, dear learners, to discolor the leaf. Uh-huh. To to discolor 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 the leaf. Discolor the leaf. Discolor discolor the leaf. Discolor the leaf. And also remember, dear learners, that the water bath was used because the methylated spirit is highly flammable. If you are told why were they using methylated water bath, because the methylated spirit is highly flammable. Wash the leaf in warm water to soften the leaf. To soften the leaf. To soften the leaf. That's why they used warm water to soften that leaf. Define the following terms, are very simple terms. One, parasitism. We all know this as a mode of nutrition where organisms known as parasites live on the body of another organism known as host, causing harm to the host. So we can say parasitism, a mode of nutrition, a mode um, a mode of nutrition, a mode of new I don't know, a mode of nutrition. My pen is taking time to write. A mode of nutrition, where an organism or I can say where a parasite, a parasite, a parasite depends, depends on a host for survival. Sorry, you can see that misbehave. Depends on a host for survival. For survival. Survival. Like that. Hope you can still read that handwriting. Then we have what is called holozoic, a mode of nutrition where an organism takes in solid complex food, where it is broken down into small soluble substances that the body can absorb. So we can say mode of nutrition where an organism, mode of nutrition, mode of nutrition where an orga where an organism takes in solid complex food, takes in solid takes in solid complex takes in solid complex food, takes in solid complex food where it is broken down, where it is broken down, it is broken down into small soluble substances, into small small soluble small soluble uh, small soluble small soluble substances that can be absorbed in the body, that can be absorbed, that can be absorbed in the that can be absorbed in the body, that can be absorbed in the body, that can be absorbed in the body. Let's go to question number 35. We are going to question number 35. The diagram below shows an example of a dash. I know some of you can jump into saying a fish. No. When you look at it well, that question number 35, it is an organism that has its teeth well shown. The teeth are of the same shape and size. So this one is an example of a homodont. 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 Homodont, an example of a homodont. Stage 3 adaptations of flesh eaters dentition, their feeding habits. Flesh eaters, those that feed on flesh. One, have sharp, they have sharp, have sharp, sharp, chisel shaped, chisel, chisel shaped, sharp chisel shaped incisors, incisors for catching the prey, for catching the prey, for catching the prey. Another maybe adaptation we can say, have long pointed canines, have long pointed, have long pointed canines, have long pointed canines, have long pointed canines to penetrate the flesh, to to penetrate to penetrate flesh, to penetrate flesh and flesh of prey. So maybe I can say flesh of prey, flesh of prey, and hold it firmly, and hold it firmly. And then that maybe I can say I can talk about now the spacing of the teeth, whereby maybe I can say um well spaced, have well spaced teeth to prevent flesh, to prevent flesh, to prevent flesh from getting stuck, to prevent flesh getting from getting stuck, to prevent flesh from getting stuck in between, in in between. Question number 37. Draw a diagram representing a flower and label at least 4 parts. That one you will draw. Remember, when you draw, you make sure you have drawn maybe sepals, petals, anthers, stigma, style, so that at least you can get at least 4 parts, and each part will be now a mark. That one you will draw. I don't want to draw it, but I know that's a very simple question. You can directly draw. Question 38. During a practical lesson, learners mixed sodium hydroxide pellets with water. On holding the beaker, they discovered it was warm. State the energy stored in atom sodium hydroxide pellets. It was warm. So that energy is heat energy, because heat is the one that is providing the warmth now. So that is a heat energy. Heat energy. Question number 39. The diagram below was set up by grade 8 learners while investigating types of changes that occur in substances. You can see hydrated cobalt 2 chloride, heat, boiling tube, the colorless liquid, ice cold water, and the beaker. Then you can see tube A. Name the apparatus labeled A. That apparatus is what is called the delivery tube. This one, we call it delivery. We call it the delivery tube. Call it the delivery tube. Part B, state the observation when Roman 1 hydrated cobalt 2 chloride was heated. Hydrated cobalt 2 chloride was heated. Originally its color is pink. So it changed from pink to blue. It changed. It changed from pink to blue on heating. So the color of the hydrated cobalt 2 chloride changed from pink to blue. Roman 2, the colorless liquid was added to the cobalt 2 chloride. What happened? On adding the colorless liquid, we expect it now to change from, we expect it now, okay, how will we just, let me see this question, how it is structured. How is the question structured? Just a moment. Let me fix something from my end. I want to fix something from my, I'm fixing something from my end.
A. Electrical conductivity. B. Thermal conductivity. Eaters' dentition to their feeding habit. Name the type of change that occurred. So the type of change. So you
Okay. What you learn is that, sorry for that interrupt I was having. What you learn, when adding the colorless liquid, it now changes from blue back to pink color. So I can say maybe here that color changes from blue back to pink, meaning to its original. Then name the type of change that occurred. Is it chemical, physical? This one here is a physical one because no new element is formed. So this one is physical. That one is a physical change. This one is a physical change. State 3 characteristics of the change that occurred. Characteristics of physical change. Characteristics of physical change. 1, the change is reversible. You can see the reverse that happened. Change is reversible. That's one. Number two, I can say no new substance is formed. No new substance. No new substance is getting formed. Then number next, we can also again talk about there was change in chemical composition. There was change in K in chemical composition. There was change in chemical composition. So those are the three characteristics. Question number 40, which is the last question of our discussion. The diagram below represents a setup used by learners to separate components of a mixture. You can see the setup. Name the method used to separate these components. Which method is this? This one is which method is this, dear learners? Let's look at it keenly. Which method is this? You know, it's very, very important for you also to have this mastery of content. Very, very important for you. So this one is fractional distillation. This method is fractional distillation. So this is just a moment. The method here should be fractional distillation. Distillation. Roman B. Name the parts labeled A and B. A is what is called the distillate. What has been distilled? We call it the distillate. Part B, so part B, let me just see. Part B, that is a steam. Steam there. This is steam. Name a mixture that can be separated using the above method. We can separate salt from water. So I can talk about salt and water using this method. Salt and water. Salt and water. Salt and water can be separated using this approach. Using this method, salt and water can be separated using this approach. So learners, that is how you could have answered this question, or rather this question paper. It was a very, very good question paper. Hope you've learned something. Make sure you've subscribed and you also share the link to your other friends. Make sure you share the link to your other friends. Wonderful. I can see someone is asking me, hi teacher, usiku kuna lesson gani? Today at evening, that is from 7, I'll be doing section 2 of the Maseno mathematics paper. So that is what I'll be doing tonight at that's what I'll be doing. Someone is just telling me I look at back my question number. Someone is talking about question number 40. Question number 40. Question number 40. Yes, about the Lebig's condense, I can see the water in and the water outlets. Okay, thank you for noting that. Though that one wasn't part of the major concern on this, but that's nice. Thank you all, guys. Thank you all. I literally appreciate. Just give me your support by only subscribing to my channel. Nothing more. The moment you've subscribed to this channel, it will be my pleasure. Wonderful, wonderful, guys. I can see majority you are following me. If you have even your brothers and sisters and friends in high school, tell them let's all meet at STEM Smart Academy at 7 p.m. tonight. There'll be a mathematics paper too that I'll be bringing live, a very, very good paper. A very, very good paper. You can also share this video to your other school WhatsApp groups. Tell them about STEM Smart Academy. And above all, when you go back to school, that is from next week, say hi to your other friends. Say hi to your integrated science teacher, mathematics teacher, and also the pre-technical studies teacher. Tell them also about the STEM Smart Academy. Thank you all. Thank you all. Wonderful, wonderful. Have a good day. Goodbye for now.